Hey everybody, welcome to today's vlog. Um, Today we are going to talk about the stock GEO, which gives around 13% of dividend as of today. And we are going to discuss about the company and the financials, and we are going to see if it is worth a buy as of today. So as we said, it gives around 12 to 13% of dividend. If you see in this diagram or the stock chart, which you see here in the front, at this point in time, the rate is around $15, 14, high 14 or low $15, right? Depending on when you're watching it, and we are talking around second week of October, right? So uh, at this rate, if you buy the stock today, the return will be, as you see here in Google, 12.99% or 13%, right? So that's what we are going to talk about. Now, let's discuss a little bit about the company background and the company profile. So this is a private prison stock, right? This is actually branded as, or if you see, Yahoo Finance or something, this will show as REIT for healthcare, because I think they probably provide some facilities on caring of the inmates, etc. I'm assuming. So that is why you would see it as REIT healthcare. For those who do not know, REIT is basically a real estate investment trust where they're trying to make money out of the real estate investments, right? This is headquartered in Florida, USA. This is considered a sin stock, so many people find it morally challenging to invest in a stock which is private prison, considering that it may motivate the people to get more prisoners even though they are not needed, and that is why this is considered a sin stock. That is debatable from either side, and I can talk from both sides, but this discussion today will not be on that. We'll be talking about the company as a profile and as an investment, right? We'll touch upon morality issue probably towards the end a little bit. This is around $2 billion market cap. It's a little less than $2 billion at this point in time at the current market price. So it gives you an idea of the size of the company, company stocks, right? And this is around 133 facilities, 97,000 beds, and around 23,000 employees. Okay, so let's go ahead. So if we compare the negatives and positives of the stock, if you invested $100 in this stock around a year back, today you would be at $65. So you would have made a loss of around 35%, right? However, you would have made around $10 in dividends, so you would be on the net loss of around 25, $26. Um, the reason I say 25, 26 is because you would have ended up paying tax on those dividend which you made. So that is a negative, that this has been going down since very long time. Another positive, if you see on the other ways, because it has gone so much down, it gives around 13% of dividend today, which is tremendous dividend, right? So if we go ahead, another thing I would see in this situation positive right now is this is almost at a yearly low, or even its lowest of it has been in many years or many ups and downs. So what I'm trying to say is, if you see this chart, for example, once again, where you see the low point is right now, that low point was probably earlier somewhere around 2016. Before that it was there around 2012. Before that it was there around I don't know, 2010 and so. right? So basically what I'm trying to say is, over a period of long time, if you see in a long journey, the stock has had its ups and downs, but it has gone down and it has bounced back, right? So that is why I see that it is nearly a long time low, or on average I'm quoting it as 8-year low, is a positive, because I would think that this may bounce back. um, okay, so next point. California is attempting to ban private prisons as of October 2009, which is a negative, right? So if I go and look it up on Google on how many um, private prisons for GEO Group are there in California, I see around 8 number, right? And this news just came in, confirming that they actually banned the private prison just a few hours back today, and which is October 11, right? Um, so so basically, sorry, October 11 or 12, depending on where you are. So basically, this means that this this stock will probably go down on next week whenever the market opens. However, the point here is, the number of facilities in California are around 8 facilities, right? So the impact out of 133 facilities may not be that high in long run. Now, if other states start following this, that's a different question and needs to be looked at again. But this point in time, I expect that this might go down, but again, it might bounce back, right? Um, other thing was, other thing in news was, I think sometime back, I think around September 2019, Kamala Harris and other there were some other political movements around private prison stocks, and basically they were trying to ban the private prisons by many political movements. So that is another risk or the negative at this point in time, which you can see. This was the article, I think, on Vox News, which you see the screenshot of. And as I've highlighted, there was some talking of banning private prisons even then. Uh, Now, the other positive which I see here is, again, I'm trying to compare negatives and positives to give, argue from both sides before we decide or conclude on what we should do on this stock, right? So, um, this Geo as a company, it maintains facilities in North America, Australia, South Africa, and United Kingdom. So it is widespread. So geopolitical of issue of one country may not impact the other country. Also, there are 133 facilities. And also other point which I try to think here, which I'm not here in writing, but that is that these stocks are real estate stocks after all, right? So worst case scenario, if prisons get impacted, those real estates may be repurposable, right? So that means as far as you have those assets, they are not going to go away, and they can always bounce back by repurposing or using it for something else. And again, I'm not saying that there is no risk, but there is tremendous return for that risk. And I would say even if it falls below the $14-15, the dividend are going to increase. I mean, of course, there might be some impact because of few facilities closing down, but they are going. Remember, they're going to close down as jail. I would not be surprised if a company who has been in market for so long does not have a backup plan, right? So that's my thought. These are the positives and negatives which we spoke about just in a summary. So I'll let you guys have a quick look at it if you want to read through it. These are the same points which we discussed earlier. Oh yeah, and other point which I've written here, which we probably did not touch upon, is banks were trying to stop backing up private prisons and giving them loans for expansion, right? So that's another negative point, right? So let's go ahead. In terms of financials of June, uh, in terms of cash on hand, that was a little lower, not a little lower, fairly lower than the previous quarter. So if you see this March and this June, right? So if you compare both side by side, the cash on hand in June is $21 million, right? Whereas cash on hand in March 2019 was around $67 million. So so there is a potential cash flow issue, and that is why the loan from the bank may be important. Let me rephrase it. Not necessarily, I'm not saying this as a cash flow issue, but at least you can see the cash reducing. Earnings per share, if you see here between March and June, is more or less similar. Revenue, if you see here, is again more or less similar, right? So I think they would have to, run this operation very tightly in next days. So here are my some personal notes, right? Due to borrowing constraints and geopolitical issues, the cash flow may be impacted. I expect that this cash flow impact may restrict expansion or hold increase in the dividends in near future. So I think in near past, Geo had increased the dividend a little bit, but I expect that in near future they may not be able to do so or may not want to do so. I would not be surprised if there is a little correction comes in the dividend in next quarters. Um, However, I see that, based on the history and the length of the company, and at least that because that I expect that the company holds these assets, company should be able to sustain this in long run. And other thing which I can think of as a risk is basically company uh, may have basically for the company may float in more stock and try to sell it in order to raise some funds, and which might end up diluting the stock. And it is possible that for that reason the stock may go further lower, right? So, however, I think my net conclusion is what you see in the last line after this, however, over here, and that is with this size of dividend, I would think drip buying makes sense. What does it mean? It means that do not buy all the stock which you would want right away, but start putting in slow money in this stock. So that's just my personal notes and my thoughts of somebody for somebody who's interested. Here are some links or references which I tried to look at. So this for the cash flow, etc. The Kamala Harris and the private prison thing and California private prison news, right? I'll also try to put it in the comments below or in the description below so you can look at them if you want to. Um, and other thing is basically before we close a disclaimer, I'm not a certified financial advisor and this is just for fun and entertainment purpose. Um, so basically, please consult a certified financial advisor before investing and use your own discretion, right? This is just created for entertainment value. Um, though care is taken while I made this, it's possible that I might have some made some mistakes. So please take this with a little bit of grain of salt and uh, if you see some errors comment and I'll try to correct it. um, and oh yeah, another thing, either me, my friends, my family, we are long on Geo, so you might want to note that. And if you have any questions, feel free to email me. All right, I'll put it in a comment and I'll try to get back as I can. uh, I guess that's pretty much, guys. Thank you so much. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, and comment. Share your thoughts, and have a wonderful day.